Hey, what's up? This is Paul Salt from Super Easy Apps. We're learning how to use the Swift command in the terminal. So first thing you can do is just run swift dash dash version to see what version you're running. And we're just going to go through this guide and sort of see what's going on. So I'm on version 5.10, so this is before Swift 6. We've got WWDC coming up. And this is a cool way to play with the command line tools. I'm going to have a couple of videos on this. But the first thing that we're going to focus on is writing a simple command line utility. And so we can go ahead and just sort of follow this guide, sort of see what we can do, and I'll show off this tool and then give you a chance to play around if you want to. I'm going to make a directory, so that's the mkdir command, and we're going to just call it my command line. So CLI, what is that? Command line interface. That's what we're talking about right now. So let's go ahead and do that. So CD will change directory into that. So we're going to jump into that folder. We can do a PWD to see where we are. I typically work in a dev folder. I have projects folder, and I just created an SPM folder for Swift Package Manager to play around. Next, we're going to work with this Swift Package init tool. So you can get help for this tool. It's Swift Package, and then it should be -H, I believe. So if we do that, we're going to see a ton of commands. There's a lot of different things that you can do. So pause this video and go take a look at all those options once you have that working, and then we'll pick up once you're back. Okay, so if you're following along, let's go ahead and we'll init. And this I've been using for some of the code challenges that I've been doing just because it feels like it could almost be faster if it worked all the time. So let's take a look at that. So we're going to do a Swift package init. We're going to give it a name with the -- name. We'll just call it the same thing. So whatever you call it, it's going to put this in the swift.package file. And then to get something running real quick, we'll use an executable type, but there's a few different ones that we could look at. There's library, there's some other ones. So library and this one are probably the two most popular. I've been using a library a lot just because it has the built-in unit tests. So if we go ahead and do that, we'll see that it generates this Swift package file, a git ignore sources, and there's a main.swift. So we can go ahead and open up that. So we can open package with VI if you're feeling adventurous, if you know how to use VI. And you'll see the package file. So we're going to have a name here, that's my CLI. We've got some targets. Right in here, we've got executable target, and then it's just the name my CLI. Cool. So I'll just exit out of that. I'll hit escape to get back out of editing mode if you're in editing mode, and then you can do :Q exclamation mark. This is force quit, don't save anything. So we'll just close that out. If you want to just open this up in Xcode, I find that sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't work. So just open package.swift. If it fails to load it, just close it and reopen it. So let's see what happens. It's loading that file. So you should see this little box symbol. If this box symbol did not appear and you just saw my CLI with like a blue folder, that means it didn't open right, and then just hit the close button. Come back over here and you can just rerun that command and it will hopefully open. The other thing I like to do a lot of the time is if you hold the Option key, I believe, and click the chevron, it should expand everything, though there seems to be bugs where sometimes it doesn't expand. So if not everything's expanded, just close it again, click it, and show that again. Let me just make sure I have my hotkeys on. So what is that? Keycaster. Yeah, we'll turn that on. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just clicking here with the Option key. All right, so here we see our first file. We can run this. If you do Command R, this should run on your Mac, which is actually super useful because a lot of times the iPhone will auto select when you just want to run something quick. So this is a quick way just to run something super fast. All right, once you've done that, what we can do is we can build directly from the terminal. So like this is one way to work it. what we'll play around with if you don't want to use Xcode is we can run everything from terminal. So let's practice that because I think that's a really important skill as an iPhone developer. We're just going to do Swift run my CLI. So that's the name. And it should be able to go ahead and build that using your package.swift file. So you see that built and ran in 1.37 seconds, and we see hello world prints out in the console. If you're in Xcode land, just hit the run button and you'll see hello world appear right here, and that's it. Now, one thing to note is if you're used to iPhone apps or Mac apps, this has no run loop, so this is not going to keep running. It's going to finish execution and then just stop. That's what command line tools do. All right, so next up, what Apple's showing in this guide is how to get a sample package. So they have something called Figlet here that will help us do ASCII art, just to show you an example of how this would work. You can edit that in Xcode or you can follow along, edit in VI. So I'm just going to do it in VI. So I'm going to say VI and then Swift, or sorry, package.swift. Press enter, and now we're in this mode. I can delete some lines with DD, and if you make any mistakes, you can always press U. So DD will delete these lines, DD will just clean this up so there's a little bit easier to see. We're going to be adding a dependency. Dependency comes after the name. So on this line, I'm going to go to the end of the line, and if you did have a mistake, just do U, it'll undo. DD again. So right after here, we're going to do, I think we want to do $sign. So $sign takes us to the end of the line. Then we press A, press enter, I tab in. Now the tabs are going to be a little bit too far. So to fix that, oh, I wrote that down, but I need my notes. Do I have it here? I think I do. All right, so we want to do set tab stop equals 4, this command right here. So you're going to do a colon, oops, hit escape, colon, set tab stop, and then wasn't paying attention, equals 4. Press enter. And now, did that work? Yes. So now when we tab, it's going to go 4 spaces instead of 8 spaces, which is helpful. I need to set that setting, but I just wanted to show you how you could do it before we even get to that. So we're going to add a dependencies, and I'm just going to type this all out, but you can feel free to copy and paste. We do need a comma there, so let's set that up, and then we'll do dot package URL, and then we'll type this out. This is good practice just so that you're aware of what's possible. If you're always copying and pasting, you're never going to remember this stuff and you're always going to have to look it up. So we're just going to try and do that and see if we can get this to work. So we add our package. It has a branch name, and if we want, we can hit escape and then for some reason, I don't know why it's indented so far there. Oh, it's probably because of that. Got it. So if I wanted to indent this one more, I could hit I and then hit tab and hit escape, and that would give me a little bit more indentation. Okay, so next up, when you have a dependency, you need to associate it with, so we're just saying that we have a dependency for the project right here, but we need to associate it with this target so that we can use it in the target. And so we're going to go down to the bottom here, and at the end of the line, so we could do the $sign shortcut, press A to append, and then we'll do a new line, and whoops, we don't actually want to go to the end line. I take that back. So let's actually go backwards. So it's going to be H to go back, and I'm actually going to use I to insert. So we're going to insert a comma, press enter, and we're going to tab, 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 and type out dependencies. I'm just going to indent it. This is going to be product name, and this is called Figlet package. Press enter. What else do we have in here? Okay, so that was my dependencies. Looks like I gotta type this. We'll cross our fingers and hope we didn't mess up too many things. So I see that this is matching, so that's helpful in Vim. And then that's our package, so that's looking pretty good. I'll save it with, I'll hit escape, and then I'll do Shift ZZ, so capital Z, capital Z. So once we do that, we should be able to type Swift build, and this will tell us if we have any issues. So if you have any issues, you're going to have to open that file up, go back in and edit it. That's going to build it all for us, and we'll now see a package.resolved file. So if we do a ls, you'll see package.resolved. If I can cat that package.resolved just to see what it is, it'll just print it out to my terminal so I can look at it. And I can see what branch and what commit history we are tracking, which is great. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to change from having a main.swift, which is like a top level Swift file, to having like a traditional app executable file that we'll just call my CLI. And you can't have both, so you have to decide which way you want to go. So if you want to have a main function that's going to have a run loop and stuff like that, I still don't think this will have a run loop, but it'll be a little bit different than just having top level code. So let's open that up again. So we'll say vi sources, and then we've got our main.swift. So all we have is this, and we basically just want to get rid of this and replace it with this other file. Let's keep this for now just so that you can see what the error is going to look like. And I'm just going to go into sources, and then we're just going to say vi my CLI.swift, press enter, I to insert, and then we're going to import Figlet, create our main structure with a main function. Oh, and I have to do that tab stop every time. I really need to change that setting. Okay, so now, but by practice, we learn what that is. So static function main, and then we just need to say figlet.say whatever string you want to say. So let's say hi, Paul, and you can put your name here and then go ahead and run it. So I'll just close out those brackets, hit escape. You can pause it if you need to, or just type what's on the left side of my screen. I'm going to hit capital Z, save it, and now what we can do is we can try and do Swift run, see what happens, and we're going to see some errors. So this is what I was talking about. Always start with a top error. There's going to be a lot of errors. It's going to be pretty gnarly, and it's going to say main attribute cannot be used in a module that contains a top level code. That contains top level code. So this is the difference between the two things. So if we just jump back into Xcode, for those of you who are visual, I can just quickly jump between these two files. We're going to see the same issue here as well. So this is top level code. You can do all this, but once you want to have like a main function that's going to control how things get executed and give you a little bit more flow control, then you've got to get rid of the other file. So we've got to get rid of this main file. So we can just delete it from Xcode, or we can delete it from the command line. Let's delete it from the command line. So I'll just close Xcode. So it's just going to be rm dash r. We can just do rm main.swift. It's going to confirm that that's the one we want to do, and yes, y to confirm. And then if we type ls to list all the files, we'll see it's no longer there. Now, if we do up arrow twice, we're going to have to go a couple times, 4 times. I can now do Swift run, press enter, and it will say, hey, Paul, or hi, Paul. And if you've changed that to say your name, you'll now see that. All right, so there's also argument parsing, and you actually get this for free if you do one of the other Swift things. So let me show you that real quick. So Swift, I'm not going to go through it, but Swift package, we might be able to say .help here. Okay, so this is exactly what I wanted. So Swift package init, we could be a library. That's going to have a unit test baked into it, which is super nice and quick for you to get started with. Executable is the one we just did. Tool is the one that's going to have the Swift argument parser that we're going to add. So if you need to do command line arguments, that's super useful. Build tool plugin, I haven't tried that. I'm assuming, I don't know if that integrates with Xcode. I don't think it does. Command plugin, a macro, or an empty. So there's not a whole lot of customization, but these will just like be kind of like templates that you can get started with. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the Swift argument parser. So we're going to have one more dependency, and we're going to add it in 2 places. So we're adding it here, and we're adding it here, and then we can do stuff with it in the actual code. So let's go back into our Swift package file. I'll go up a directory, and then we're going to just use VI to go into package.swift, down to this line. I still haven't set the tab stop, so I'm just going to do that. And then we'll go to the end of the line here. So I'm on the line I want to append to, so I'm going to do Shift 4 to get the $sign. I'm going to do append for A to append, press enter, tab, dot package. And then just type this out, or you can copy and paste it if you're not very good at typing. We're just using the very first version. Hit escape to exit edit mode, and then we're going to go down a little bit and we're going to add it again. And all we have to do is the name and the package. So down here, let's get down in there. We'll go $sign to end the line, A to append, press enter, tab, and then you can do a new product. Oops, that's not how you save. Okay, so hit escape and then do the capital Z to save it. And now we can import it. So let's go back in VI sources, and then it's going to be our my CLI. Use tab to autocomplete and press enter. And I typically like to do this in order, so I'll do an insert at the top, do import argument parser. And when I say in order, I mean alphabetically for the imports, so A before F, unlike what Apple has here, which is fine. And then we are going to go forward a word. I'm going to go back one, insert, add a colon, and parsable command. So we just added this portion, and it looks like we've got this right here that we're going to add. And then we're going to use a a run command. So this is a little bit different than just the main function. Okay, so this is going to be using a macro, I believe, and it's going to have whatever input we want here, and then it's going to parse those, and we're going to see whatever that input is. And it's going to allow us to use that text. So back over here, I'm still in edit mode, so I'm going to hit escape. And we're going to go to the start of this line with a underscore, so just shift dash, and then we're going to do an I, and we're going to start inserting. We've got these eight lines. So if I want to fix this one more time, I'm going to do colon set tab stop equals 4, press escape. Okay, insert tab over, and let's type out this option help specify the input. So we have our input string that's getting this macro, I believe, applied to it. And then we're moving away from the main function, it looks like, to having a run function. I'm guessing that by subclassing from parsable command, that's going to handle some of that for us. So let's just use dd to delete, insert, and now we're going to just do public func run throws tab tab figlet dot say self dot input tab close bracket, and we should be good. You can pause the video if you need to catch up, or you're just copying what's on the left side. I'll do escape and then save with shift ZZ. And at this point, we can run our application. So Swift run my CLI. If you just do this, let's see what happens. Okay, we're probably missing a comma. Says product cannot be used on instance of type target dependency. So let's see if we missed something here. I'm guessing there's a comma missing. So this would be our Swift package file. So let's open that up. Yep, missing a comma. So go down to this line, and we're going to do shift $, hit an A to append, add a comma, hit escape. Let's go to the next line, see if there's a comma there. So we should be good. So escape ZZ, and then we'll try running that command again. Okay, so it's downloading argument parser. We now have a new dependency. It's building everything, and we're going to see some output. So here we get some free assistance by using the Swift argument parser, so we don't have to write everything from scratch. It said missing expected arguments, input, input. Okay, and so see how it's given us this suggestion. So it's automatically giving us this. It's giving us the help automatically to show the help. So if we were to run this and say, sorry, help, that will give us the help, which is super useful. And the input. And the input was all generated, if we scroll down, because we have this. And because we added an option, we're saying this is an option for a parsable command. and this is the help associated text, and then this is the actual variable, and so that variable is used right here in both places, which is super nice. Saves you a lot of time if you need to parse input for a command line tool, which I've written in the past, and it can be really useful. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to actually give it a command. So let's give it the inputs and say, hey, Paul, is it dinner time? Ooh, too long. Still too long. So if you want to see this, you're going to have to make this a little bit wider. So you can make it say whatever you want, make it say your name. WWDC is soon, and what did I mess up? Boom. Wow. That's very verbose. So if I was going to do that, you really can only do a few words, maybe 3. And all right. Cool. So if you have any questions about this, let me know down in the comments below. This is just playing around with the Swift package manager. So remember, we use Swift package init, and we can do the --h to get the help. And all of this type of stuff is an example of the argument parser that we just added as a dependency. So you'll learn how to add 2 dependencies in this tutorial, how to run them from the command line. So just to go over that, we did Swift run, and we also did Swift build. So Swift build will also fetch dependencies if you add a new dependency. So you can just type Swift build, and that will grab everything, build it. If we do Swift run, it's going to go ahead and do it. We're going to need, so for the very bottom, I think we have to specify the executable, because you can just write Swift run, but because we're doing input and requiring input, then you're going to have an issue. So if I just did this, oh, they're doing single quote. Interesting. Maybe that was my problem. So it doesn't know what to apply input to, so we have to give it that thing. So if I just insert here the actual target that we want to run, then we get that. All right, thanks for watching. If this was helpful, or if you want to learn more about working with either Terminal or Swift Package Manager, comment down below, like this video, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.